esteemed students. How are you doing? I believe you have not abandoned your books. Never mind, this period will soon be over and we'll get back to school and we'll continue our learning. Also, I want to believe you have been following all our teachings. Today, I still remain your English language teacher, Bankole Abiodun. Don't forget to play back all the teachings we've had so far. Remember to have the informal letter, formal letter, argumentative essay, as well as how to answer comprehension passages. You can check through our Facebook account, and at the same time, very quickly, we shall be giving you our YouTube contact so that you can access all this video in case you're outside the country and you want to see what is happening. Also, don't forget that all the assignments that have been given to you, either from our junior school or from the senior school, don't forget to send it to agssnronlineclass@gmail.com. Let me repeat, agssnronlineclass@gmail.com. Be it in the junior school or in the senior school. We'll be glad to receive your mail and equally we'll reply all your questions. Thank you for watching. Well, today we'll be looking at summary, and of course, for those of us that are preparing for the forthcoming exam, the WAEC exam, the NECO exam, you agree with me that this is an important aspect of your paper 1. Like I've been saying, we'll have question number 1 to question number 5, which comprises of essay question, out of which you are going to pick one question of your choice. And question number 6, invariably, which is comprehension question. Remember the last time we met, I gave you an insight as regards to how to tackle questions on comprehension. And of course, the last aspect of that paper is your summary. A lot of us have seen summary question of summary passage of answering summary exam as a terrible thing. But I'm glad to tell you that answering summary exam is not as difficult as you think. All you need to do is to have a positive mindset. You know, in any exam, it's all about preparation. At the same time, it's all about having a positive mindset. At this exam, I am ready to sit down, I'm ready to write it, and I'm ready to pass. So that is the kind of mentality I want you to have. And don't forget, I always say, there is no big deal in English language. It's just a matter of following the instruction. I don't believe that a student will spend 3 years in the junior school and 3 years in the senior school, and at the end of the day, we want to write the exam and fail woefully. I don't believe in that. So I am saying this so that to motivate you that you can do well when it comes to summary. Let's quickly check those things that we need to look at. Now, when we talk about summary, don't forget, you are going to be given a passage, just like what you have in the comprehension. And every passage you come across, there is usually what you call subject matter. And what does that mean? It means for every passage you come in contact with, be it in comprehension, be it a summary passage itself, there is an issue, there is a fundamental issue that is being raised by the writer of that passage. I've had several when students will say, "Sir, I've read this passage more than once, more than twice. I don't even understand what the examiner said." No, or what is in the passage. You have to put your mind into it. Gone are those days when you given exams like you have to write 2 essays, you answer 2 comprehension questions, and you answer 1 summary. There are some set of people that fall into that group. People that wrote that type of exam, they can bear me witness. Those are the kind of ways the WAEC used to set their exams in those days. But things have been taken so lightly. You just have only 3 questions to answer under paper 1. Therefore, let's look at it. Summary. What is the essence of summary? It is all about being brief. Let's look at it from a practical point of view. You are given a very long passage, and they now said, summarize what the passage is all about. What do you need to do? Or somebody said, okay, just tell me what happened. Maybe a particular event, and you narrated everything from A to Z. The person will now say, okay, at the end of the day, the person died. And the person was taken to the hospital. From the hospital, he was doing this, he was taken to this place, and all. But the bottom line of it is that eventually the person died. Just that simple sentence. So, summary is all about for you to read that very long passage with mindset of knowing the content of that passage, what it's all about. That is what the examiner wants to test from you. He wants to test how you can grab, how you can compress. He wants to test your level of, being able to compress ideas into short, simple sentences. That is what summary is all about. So when you talk about summary, it means brevity. To write a passage or to write something that is very small. You are given a very long passage and the examiner wants to compress it. That is what summary is all about. Now, let's look at what I have on the board. It consists of explicit information. I have said that in the course of my introduction. When you talk of summary, there are information that the writers of that passage wants to get across to you. Don't forget that in a passage, so many informations are made available, or so many informations are available in the passage. And as a result of that, there is a need for you to really find out what the examiner demands from you. Don't forget, the examiner demands a particular type of information from you. Therefore, you are not to bring or you are not to supply your answer out of context. Let me emphasize that. There are some candidates that supplies answer or gives answer to a particular question out of context. And what we mean by context? Context is that information that is in that passage. So you don't give your answer out of context. You don't give answer out of what the examiner did not demand from you. Your answers should be from that passage. It's like somebody asking you, what is your name? You now reply the person that I'm living at Idiaba. You know it's out of context. That is not what the examiner demands from you. So as much as possible, whenever we are giving our answers, let it not be out of context. Let it be within the frame of the passage that has been given to you in the exam. Therefore, it contains explicit information. And of course, there is a subject matter. Like I said, there is an issue. Let me give you an example. You remember your vocabulary development. Of course, you will say, well, that is in the objective. I agree with you. It's in the objective. But if you cast your mind back, you will discover that in your school, your teacher taught you different vocabularies, what we call registers in English language. Don't forget, we have the vocabularies of the accountant, we have the vocabularies of farmer, fishery, economics, agriculture, name it. Every human endeavor has its own set of words, which we call in technical terms registers, that are being used in letting people know about them. Take for example, it is only in the banking sector that we have something like checkbook, deposit, withdrawal, overdrafts, loans. All these are words that are relevant to banking society or banking community. You cannot talk of all those words that I mentioned in the teaching profession. In the teaching line, you can only talk of chalk, class teacher, chalkboard, duster, and so on and so forth. So every human endeavor has its own peculiar register or set of words that are used in place. So I am saying this so that you know that every passage that you come across has its own peculiarity, has its own form of register, has its own set of words that is pertaining to it. Now, let's go on. Therefore, the main idea or relevant information in the passage is what is needed in answering your summary. Yes, don't forget, like I said, when you see a passage, especially when you are faced with a summary passage, is going to contain different information, explicit information, but there is a kind of emphasis that the examiner is going to, or the person that has given the passage, or the writer of the passage, that wants to bring out. That is what you are going to look for. Let me say this. Don't forget that in every summary passage is going to be comparisons of so many things. You talk about your simple sentence, you talk about your compound sentence, you talk about your complex sentence and your compound sentence. The compound complex. At the same time, you are going to have instances of interrogative sentence, you are going to have instances of declarative, you are going to have instances of so many sentences that you will come across. So this is what makes up a sentence or a passage, as the case may be. So make sure that for you to know what the passage is all about, you must take your time to read it. Like I used to say it jokingly to my students, if you are going to write an exam and your dad and your mom, they had a kind of misunderstanding in the house, God forbid party, even if they fight, they confront each other physically, just leave them with their own problem. Your own destiny is at your hand. Go to the exam, settle your mind, and write your exam, and you excel. And I know that by the grace of God, you will excel in your exam. So many information is included in every passage, but you must look for the information that the examiner requires or demands from you. Let's go on. It is important to know that the main idea is what the examiner requires, not extraneous material. Let me underline the word extraneous. What the examiner demands from you is the main idea. This is different from answering comprehension, and I'll show you how to go about this shortly. When you are answering summary exam, it doesn't give room for irrelevancies. In fact, if you include what we call extraneous materials in your answer, the examiner is going to penalize you. At every point of including extraneous materials, the examiner is going to penalize you. Therefore, what you write, or the way you write your answers in summary exam, is for you to go straight to the point. You are not to beat about the bush. No. You don't beat about the bush when you are answering summary as an exam. I know many of you still be confused that, Master, this summary passage, answering summary exam, is usually an issue. It's never an issue. The most important thing is for you to really have a grip or a grasp of what the passage is all about. Now, I'm going to give you some instances or certain things that you just need to take note of. But before I go into that, let me say this. Bringing back what I taught you during the comprehension passage. Don't forget I said, if you go back to my previous teaching on comprehension, how to answer comprehension passage, I said, whenever you are faced with the comprehension passage, what's the first thing that you should do? Thank you for reminding me of that. I said, go straight to the question. Don't read the passage first. Just go straight to your question and temporarily memorize it. Mark my words. Temporarily memorize the question. That will not take you more than a minute or two. Don't forget, your exam is being timed. You are under time, and therefore, you cannot afford to waste just 1 minute. Temporarily go to the passage, and the first thing is you go to the question, look at the question very well. When after you might have done that, you now go to the passage, read the passage, and see what is there at the first instance. Look at what is there. Now, I asked one intelligent question that time. I said, after looking at the passage, what do you think will be coming to your mind? I'm repeating the question again. The first step then was look at the set of questions, temporarily memorize it. Thereafter, read the passage as quickly as possible. My question is this: having read the passage as quickly as possible, what do you think will be coming to your mind? Did you just say you'll be taking note of the answer? Exactly. you'll be taking note of where the answers are in the passage. You can apply the same method to when you are trying to answer question or summary. You read it and you discover that you'll be taking note of where the answers are in the passage. Please don't answer the question at this point. Don't answer the question. Then you now go back to the passage to the questions for the second time. Take a look at the questions again. When you look at the question, you now look at it again. All right, this is the question for this, this is the question for this. You now go back to the passage again, this time with the intention of reading and purposely for the purpose of answering all the questions. You will discover that by the time you do that, you will have had a grip, a very firm grip of the question or the passage. Did you just say, sir, does it mean I'm going to read it twice? Yes. For you to have a very good knowledge of a passage, be it comprehension, be it summary passage, you must read it at least twice. Don't forget also, the way you read the passage determines the way you understand the passage. Make sure you take note of all those things I mentioned while I was teaching comprehension. In case you have forgotten, you can go back to my teaching on how to answer comprehension passage. You have a better knowledge. Now, if you have done that, there is a little difference between the way you answer comprehension passage and summary passage, and that is what I have done here. Now, let's look at the secret of success in summary, or should I say, how to answer summary question successfully. Number one, strict adherence to the instruction. Let me say at this point that every exams that you write, apart from English language, mathematics, economics, even Yoruba, and Greek science, and the rest, instruction is very important. In fact, I used to say, without the instruction, there is no exam, because you wouldn't know what to do. Therefore, for you to succeed in answering summary as an exam, you must read the instructions and know what the instruction demands from you. Try to know what the instruction wants you, what the examiner wants you to do. Because if you fail to do, or if you fail to follow the instruction, the instruction given by the examiner, there could be problems. And I know you are a brilliant student, and I know you will pass this exam. But please, instruction is very important. Look at this. There is usually this type of question. The question usually comes in two ways, or at times you can have a question. Let me give you an example. I've written something here on the board. In two sentences, one for each, give, or you can say, mention three importance of education. Let me repeat that. The examiner can give you a kind of question like this. In two sentences, one for each, mention three importance of education. What does that mean? How many sentences are used to supply? 3. Very good. Therefore, if you are going to give your answers should not be more than 3 sentences. That is the instruction from the examiner. Somebody will ask me, sir, but in most cases, there are instances where there are more than 3, 4, 5, even 6 answers in the passage. Yes, I agree with you. But please, the moment you identify your answers, make sure it will be always good for you to take it accordingly. Let me say the way it has been organized in the passage. And when you are doing that, like I said, make sure your sentences is as simple as possible and is as short as possible. Let's look at this. For a candidate that wants to give answer to this type of question, there are 2 approaches. You can use what we call the preamble method, or you can use the direct method. Let me write something on the board here so that you can see the way I've done about it. There are 2 methods, there are 2 ways by which you can use to answer this question. You can use this method. Let's look at it this way. You can do it this way, that the question is in 2 sentences, one for each. What are the importance of what do you call it now? What's our question? What is the importance of education? Yes. You can do the preamble way. You can say A, if that is your answer. A, Roman figure 1. And that is what I have done here. I'm still going to explain it. You can use, let me use this way. The importance, you can use this method of education are, you put your full column. If the first answer is it enlightens man, that's the first answer. And Roman figure 2, if that is the answer in the passage, it promotes man. Let's assume that is the answer you have in the book. If you write your answers like this, you have done justice to the first part of the question. If you look at it, that the sentences are so short. Look at it. The importance of education are, I am using are because I am giving 2 answers. And that is what the examiner will do. The examiner will either ask you to give 3 sentences or 2 sentences. With these answers, I have answered the first part of the question. So this is what we expect you to do. Or you can use another method like this. Or you can use this method. Education enlightens, alright? Education enlightens man. That's the first one. Roman figure 1. Don't forget, you write your A. And like what I wrote here, you make sure you write your answer in the middle of your answer booklet. That's what I said. The numbering should be in the middle and should be in Roman figures, like what you have here, 1, 2, 3. Please, the examiner will frown at you using the numerals 1, 2, 3, 4. No, the examiner doesn't like that. So you use the Roman numerals there. Education enlightens man. That's your first answer. The second answer, Roman figure 2, education. Alright, I hope you are seeing it. Promotes, education promotes man. If that is what you have in the passage. That's your answer. I bet you, my beloved student, when the examiner sees this, he will give you 5 marks. If that is the mark that has been allotted to it. And this, he will give you 5 marks. My beloved student, you have scored 10 marks successfully. Take note. Let's assume because of your writing, this is supposed to be enlightening, and you didn't put the S. The examiner will do something like this. That is, there is a ring and a caret, and that is minus half. So at the scoring point, the examiner will say, okay, this candidate has done a bit. I'll put, you know, the maximum point for this particular question is 5 marks. He will write 5 minus half, which is equal to 4 and a half. Can you see where carelessness can really cause problem for you as a good student? Therefore, always look at the question very well and know what the question demands from you. Don't be too careless with the way you answer a question. This is English language. Therefore, the law or the rules of the language are strictly followed. So please, I need you to take care of this. There is something I want to point out again. Let me return this to enlighten. Alright? Then those of you that doesn't have good handwriting, please, I'm begging you to really work hard on yourself so that the examiner will just not look at your script and throw it away like a student that doesn't know what he's doing. Please, work very hard on your handwriting. Yes, there are at times, this is very important, that many of us, we don't use the preamble. Do you know that the emphasis of this passage is what? Can I hear you? Education. You are giving your answer. Anytime you are giving your answer, make sure you emphasize what that question or what that passage is all about. Let me give you an example, and you are going to give me the answer. Assuming, let me clean this place for you so that you can see. Very many of you, from this, you will detect where you have problem. Assuming the candidate wrote something like this, just give me an answer. It what? It enlightens. It enlightens man. Okay, that's the first one. Then Roman figure 2. It does what? Can I hear you? I can't hear what you are saying. It promotes. Okay, I want to write it so that you can see it very well. It promotes man. Let's assume that's our answer. It promotes man. Let me ask you one intelligent question. Do you think the answer given by this candidate is the same thing, is the same answer given by this candidate? You said yes. Oh, you are saying no. Okay. Now, let me trash it out. When you talk of it here, you know it doesn't refer to anybody. It doesn't make any reference. Therefore, at times when many of us we write our answer, we don't emphasize the object of the passage. For a candidate that writes an answer like this, you say, oh, I've done well. As an examiner, I'm going to give the candidate 0 and 0. It's 0. Why? Because the candidate did not emphasize what the passage is all about, which is what? Education. This is how candidates failed summary passage woefully. So I need you to be very careful. You always make reference to what the passage is all about. You don't just, if this can be correct if the candidate uses a preamble. A preamble like education, the importance of education is that it promotes. But here, when the candidate did not use preamble, this is without preamble, please. It's without preamble. This is with preamble. And this is the preamble of this answer. But when the candidate did not use preamble and he just writes this particular one, the candidate is going to get 0. You can now see the reason why we have failures in English language. There is a difference in education enlightens man and it enlightens man. No. So my beloved students, I need you to take note of this particular aspect. It's very important. As I'm rounding off for the day, let's go back to what we are being examining because of our time. Do not write a phrase where a sentence is required. My beloved students, in most of the questions or the questions we have in summary, you are to give answer, and your answers should be in sentences. Please don't give a phrase. You remember what a phrase is? A phrase like along the road, across the streets, on the other side. That is not what the examiner demands from you. In fact, instruction, like I said at the beginning, is very essential. Make sure you give a sentence. The examiner will always demand you to give a sentence. And make sure when you give your sentence, you take note of all the punctuation marks. You take note of your spelling. Don't forget this is in English language. The rules applies. The spelling, the punctuations, and every other thing. And lastly, I have talked about this before, avoid lifting from the passage. This is what we call mindless lifting as examiner. I am not saying you should not make use of the answers in the passage, but please, what the examiner demands from you is to read the passage, know what the passage is all about, and compress it with your own English without losing the focus of the question. And as I round off, make sure your ideas, like I said, are compressed and summary. Thank you so much for watching this program. And please, if you have any question, don't forget, Go to our email address agssnronlineclass@gmail.com. Till I come your way again, I remain your English language teacher, Bankole Abiodun. Bye for now.